Snowy Towers.
Exactly. She's like, I'm the problem. I'm the gentrifier.
I'm the gentrifier. That's your episode title. Eric Williams. I'm the gentrifier.
We're gonna check on. Just say anything. I'm the gentrifier.
I'm here to gentrify your neighborhood.
Devastating.
Comedian extraordinaire. What else are you? Actor.
Mm-hmm.
Writer.
Podcaster.
Oh, that's so gay.
That's a gay-ass podcast.
That's a gay-ass podcast. I'm so sorry.
Don't
I'm so
be sorry.
I didn't do. I was like, he's like a new friend, a new buddy, and I wasn't thinking about like researching him.
I would be offended if you had researched.
Well, I did the podcast too, that's embarrassing.
But how many gay podcasts have you been on and know about?
Enough. You had a great first season of Guests.
I did.
You really Catherine Cohen,
Yeah.
who's about to have her Netflix special come out.
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah.
Looks so good.
She's so funny.
Matt Rogers did it.
Yeah.
We just premiered season 2 with Bowen Yang.
Oh my gosh!
I know. So I've been I had Zach Noe Towers
Yes!
on. Can
Yes,
you believe?
Yeah, they can for sure. The Tower Bottoms out there.
And your episode was honestly one of my favorites.
Really?
You were just, because you know when I was first starting that podcast, I was the newbie that was just like sussing out what it meant to interview and talk to people. And there are certain people that are so easy to talk to. And obviously you and I like immediately off the bat hit it off.
Yeah.
And have so many things in common. Something we love talking about. Rod Holden. Yeah. And so I immediately were one of my favorite episodes.
Oh my gosh! I will say, interviewing's kind of tricky.
And that's the thing, is that I didn't realize that some people have it more innately than others, and I just feel so fucking lucky that I'm not a bad interviewer.
No!
And of course I've gotten better at it, but
Yeah.
when people would say, yeah, it's actually the interviewing is, like, you don't know when to stop the talking, the follow-up questions are important, so you are a good guest and interviewer.
Ooh, I love starting with compliments. Yeah, as are you. Very easy to talk to, very fun. This is a sex podcast. The first main question is, how do you define sex? Like, if you were to say you had sex with someone.
I love this question because I am the type of slut that thinks eye fucking, like eyes, that could even be sex to me. Because you know what it is? Because I've been with the same person for so long, like that to me feels like sex.
Sure.
And I famously also think everyone wants to fuck me, even if they're just like trying to look for like the tomato sauce behind me at the grocery store. I'm like, that person was so into me.
Like,
meanwhile, they're like, I want diced. But I would say like a good meaningful eye fuck can feel like the full. I can say that's sex.
Okay. I love that. You have a very broad definition.
Yeah.
No,
open.
that's good.
Open and easy.
Yeah, you are open.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I just moved to California a few months ago. I was living in New York, and I was on the subway, let's say 2 years ago. And this ginger handsomeness sits across from me. And again, I think an eye connection can be so tense, sexually tense and beautiful. So we had it a few times. The look. Oh, we're looking at each other. Okay, look away. Oh, the look.
Check back.
Away. And then look again. So then we get off the subway, and you think...
Same stop?
Same stop.
That's a big thing, isn't it?
I think so, and I can tell you the stop. It was 49th Street, right by Times Square. I was heading to Hell's Kitchen.
Okay, I was like, that's not a good stop, is it?
No. I was like, we're in this gorgeous place. It was Penn Station. So we get off at time. I don't know where the fuck he was going. Maybe he was seeing the show. I was going to meet people in Hell's Kitchen. So, like, we walk, and we realize we're off the same stop. Maybe one more look. But then he goes away.
Sure.
And you think, I'm never going to see this person again.
Yes.
I go down a block, and then I see him again. Realize we're walking again in the same direction. We eye each other, we're like, okay, this is kind of funny. And then I walk again away. Don't see him. It happens a third time where we're like on the same avenue, and at this point we're looking and laughing because we're like, this is crazy. And then he crosses the street, I'm going straight, and he looks back, I'm looking at him, and then he like shakes his head laughing, and I was like, I just met my soulmate. Keep in mind I'm married. So like he was like he seemed like an Irish variety of like hot ginger blue-eyed gay man, and unfortunately I never saw him again, but that to me felt like sex.
Yeah. I mean, that was several rounds of sex.
I would say we flipped. I would say
we barebacks. We
Yeah.
we really would. That is but that is it's one of my favorite parts of the sex like the beginning, like the
Oh
spark
my
spark
god.
spark. The if you guys had been standing next to each other and like a bump had kind of like
Mm-hmm.
pushed one of you into the other, you catch a whiff.
Oh,
And you're
whiff.
like,
Even
yeah.
thinking about that is so hot. Because I think part of the amazing thing about sex in general is just like the flirting to get there. And that's partly why I think I was like okay getting married, is because I am a flirt and my husband Matt knows that. And
Mhm.
so like I will flirt, love flirting, and it can still feel like sex to me.
Yeah. Well, I looked up the definition of flirting not too long ago, and it's like sexual like innuendo with no attempt at actual sex. It's actually in there that it's like, this is just flirting. I'm not trying to have sex with you, I'm just flirting with you.
Mm.
Is that interesting?
So do you think then that disproves my theory that I flirting can be sex? So what you're saying is I'm wrong.
You're wrong. No, I love it. Well, I guess I love it that you have a partner that supports you being like a little eye fucking slut.
I'm a fucking eye fucking slut. Yeah, he does, because do you know what? Guess how we met, babe?
Eye fucking?
Eye fucking.
Well, everyone meets eye fucking.
That's true. I'm like, can you believe?
Neither of us had eyes. They hadn't come in yet, and we still found each other.
We're feeling around the room. The wall was, I think it was like a velvet. Yeah, we were standing in line at an audition at 8 a.m. on a
No.
November, it'll be 9 years ago.
For the same part?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you guys look the same? Have I seen your partner?
No, we don't. I mean, we were wearing the same color shirt, and that was how we first started. It was like, oh, you stole my outfit. Apparently Samantha Jones was also there. But it was like, first of all, it was a musical theater audition. Neither of us are doing that. He has like completely quit the entertainment biz. Thank
Good
God.
for him. Good for you.
Good for me, babe. He is like nailing it in a different industry.
Yeah.
He's like thriving, so proud, so relieved.
Yeah.
And so it was for a shitty theater in Wisconsin, a production of Fiddler on the Roof. I'm a big Jew. He is a Catholic. And
Okay.
so they were doing like typing, where you walk into the room with like 8 people, they look at your face and your resume, and they literally just like tell you to leave, and you're not allowed to audition unless they want you to. It's because there were so many
In
people
Wisconsin?
there. For a theater in Wisconsin. That's like the depth of the devastation of auditioning for musical theater in New York City. Aren't you so happy you don't do that?
Yeah.
Because I know you
I did
yourself
musical
were a
theater,
musical
yeah.
theater queen.
As soon as I started because it was fun. I was a little gay boy,
Right.
and it was an escape. And then when I started doing it, it was competitive and stuff. I was like, no.
Horrible.
No. I'm not. No. If I'm gonna put in this much work, I'm gonna be immortalized on film,
On film.
and you're gonna study me later.
And also, you're going to be paid for it.
yes.
Do you know
And
what
you're gonna
we
wear
were...
my body out.
Of course! We were auditioning for a production of Fiddler on the Roof at like a theater in the round that was like $400 a week.
Oh, and those little slutty musical theater kids were cock hungry for that.
They were like gaping at the seams, trying to get cast as fucking Laser Wolf understudy. Like they were so gagged to do this, and so
Wow.
that's where we met.
Wow.
And long story short, he got typed out, of course. I was a big Jew with a beard at the time. Got
Sure.
typed in. I got to audition. He left. I couldn't say hello to him before he left because he like ran out of there. I find out his ex that he was with for 5 years was also in the same holding room. So he was escaping
my
from him.
God.
And then, because we were standing next to each other in line, his name on the sign-up sheet was right by mine.
Oh my God.
And so I found his name, found him on Facebook, because I'm a flirt. I was like, what do I have to lose? Like this very
love that.
handsome man. I think we were eye fucking. It felt like sex.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, I'm so sorry. Like that was so annoying at the audition. I hope you had a good rest of your day. Banter. Here's my number. And we went out like 5 days later.
Can I say, the thing you just did sweeps me off my feet. If a guy does the gesture, like the, hey, I thought you were really cute, or hey,
Yes.
blah, blah, there's nothing like it. It's so exciting to see, like, other message. Who's this little
Yes.
picture? Oh my God, it's the guy. It'd be like if the ginger guy did that from the
Can
subway.
you imagine? I would have been so excited. I think that first step it's of course vulnerable,
Mhm.
but like the risk outweighs the reward.
Vulnerable. The man who's married. He's like, it's such a vulnerable space to be in when you're flirting with someone and married for 9
I
years.
have so much to lose. Meanwhile, I go back home to the same fucking person.
Well, also the guy who's falling in love with you, who you're eye fucking, is like, oh, so you're not available, like, in any way. Cool. Thank you for this.
I'm like, God, that was so hard for me.
Good job. You did good. You did good today.
I was going around devastating people by like trying to like lead them on.
Like, it's hard. I will say gingers have had such a turnaround on the
right.
reputation. When I was young,
I was gonna
they
say.
were soulless. And
Well, because people said they were
yeah.
daywalkers.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there was like a really cool... You know, the vampires themselves have had quite the
Yes!
rebranding because we had Twilight.
Yes.
And full circle, Robert Pattinson's doing The Batman.
Wow. Have you watched it yet?
Of course not.
Oh, you're not.
No, I'm just gay.
Okay.
I just haven't. I will.
It's good. I mean.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's-
Who am I to take away from your homosexuality?
No, I have AMC A-List, which is like,
Movie pass, but
yeah,
current.
for AMC.
Yeah.
And so I go see like a lot of things. But Zoe Kravitz, like
I
Zoe Kravitz.
love Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz should be getting the gay men in the seats.
And I think ultimately she will. I think that I have like a gut reaction to seeing The Batman.
Oh,
It
sure.
feels very straight. It feels very like we're going to have to talk about sports. Like it feels like you're doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
But Zoe Kravitz is...
You see, you need to come. There's a movie theater here in WeHo. It was all gay guys.
I was going to say, is that
Yeah.
where you saw it?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever met a cute guy at the movie theater and something has happened?
And something has happened?
Yeah.
No, not like in the theater.
No, but like...
That's a quick turnaround. Met at popcorn, found seats together,
By the
jerked each other
credits.
off. Yeah.
I've never hooked up in a movie theater.
That is a great. You didn't ask me, but that is a great question.
I thought there was no question mark. I was talking about
You've
myself.
never. We pivot right back to me. I'm sure I've done stuff in a movie theater.
Yeah.
I don't think my genitalia has ever been out.
Oh.
But I think my hand has been like jerking, like
Yeah, over the pants.
Yeah.
That sounds so hot
Which
to
is
me.
also it's like a short step after eye fucking. Like
Do
over
you
the-
think
over
that's
the clothes.
the over pants hand job you gave at a movie
So
theater?
I will say Dan Savage was a guest this season.
Oh,
He
I
gave-
saw.
Yes, and he gave the best definition, or he basically said, you want sex to have the widest definition possible.
Mhm.
So eye fucking would be in there for sure, unless you're cheating, and then you want it to be the most narrow definition ever.
Because if you do anything,
Yeah.
you're cheating.
Yeah.
I had to talk to a therapist about that, actually. This is really crazy what that brings up. When I was first with Matt, I was like a year or two in, and again, I fuck everyone
Yeah.
wherever I can, and I'm on the subway. This was crazy. He's wearing sweatpants, right?
Oh,
Story can end there.
it could. He was wearing sweatpants. Therapy. No, yeah. Wedding, like men, like the groomsmen should be just in gray sweatpants.
So what are they wearing? We were gonna do Lulu.
No
Tapered up the
underwear.
leg. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go
So
on.
he's wearing sweatpants, and we were having the eyes, but then I think he was trying to like get his bulge. I think I was sitting and he was standing, and I think there was like
So your face was close to his
yeah,
wiener?
yeah, and I think that there was like maybe he was trying to get his wiener closer to my shoulder or face. I don't know. It was like a cramped 4 train in New York.
And also, was he tall? Because you're quite tall.
I think he was. I think he was
Okay.
like going from the gym or something. Like
I'm loving this
I
story.
was gonna say, this is really ticking off all the boxes. I was like, I don't know. He was like really like broad
He
shoulder.
was tall and,
I would consider him very manly.
and his junk was kind of sweaty, maybe.
Yeah, there's almost like a wet stain. It was just like a very tense, sexually beautiful moment. But I was newly with my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, and I was like, did I just cheat?
Oh.
So I go to my therapist, and a lot of my first views in therapy were like me freaking out, her being like, you're crazy.
Fine.
This is normal. And what she said to me, she said, you can feel whatever you want to feel. You can think whatever you want to think. But the actions that you take is what's important.
Yeah.
Did you hook up with this man? Did you boo, 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 boo? And I was like, no, I thought about it, but I didn't actually do it. She was like, so you're fine. And that was a revolutionary moment for me where I was like, oh my God, I actually can be the horny person I am
Yeah.
and still respect my partner.
Yeah.
And that probably made it better for me to feel okay in a relationship.
Sure.
Because I wasn't cutting off a part of who I am.
Right. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And again, your partner likes that you go out there and like I fucking
Yeah, and it's not like I'm like a lecherous, like,
no, yeah, of course.
I'm like touching myself, but
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, he like probably sometimes eye rolls, or again, if I'm like, I think that guy was looking at me, he was like, he literally was walking across the street looking at the stoplight. But like, because he also, I think just like a lot of human beings are incredibly horny and he just enjoys seeing attractive people too. So I do it a little more extrovertedly than he does it. So I think he identifies that and doesn't judge it. I'm also aggressively open about stuff like that to a fault because I don't want to be considered cheating. So I'll be like,
I looked at him.
I looked at him.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit how I am.
Wait, this is jogging a memory. Did you wind up staying on Zoloft?
No. So wait,
Did you have a bad experience?
Not bad. I thought we had a postmortem because I'm on Lexapro now.
Oh, okay, so you're on something.
Oh, of course.
And is it helping?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So on my podcast, I have a segment that was called is called Me, Myself, and SSRI, and I really, especially the first season, was going through this journey, and I realized I have so much anxiety that's like plaguing me every fucking day, and I realizing like medication would be the ticket. My old therapist was literally old, 78 years old. She was like, "You're talking through it at therapy, you're fine." And finally, when she retired, I had a new therapist where he was like, "Yeah, try it."
This is crazy, yeah.
So Zach and I, we talked about, of course, Lexapro, but Zoloft. It didn't do anything for me. Like it just like I didn't dislike it. I just like felt the same.
Okay.
Which I've heard has happened to some people.
They're all different for everyone.
Different. And I wanted the fix. So I ended up going on Lexapro and going up to 15 milligrams of Lexapro. And what I've realized, and I'm curious your insight, my anxiety has lessened. I don't think the world's ending as much, but I still am crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just the medicine wasn't going to change my life in the way that I thought it would, but it has helped me live it. Do you think that is what your experience?
I very much don't think there's any one thing.
Uh-huh.
So there's not like a cure-all. There's not like a magic pill. There's not like a magic meditation number that does it. I think it's like, it's a great tool to throw into the mix.
Well, because you are literally the reason why I looked into it.
Yeah.
Because you were telling me about like before about like going on stage or about dreading, and even you were talking about like with your podcast of like, what if this isn't good enough for X, Y, and Z? And I was so plagued by that, especially with my podcast and videos I put out. And so I've gotten way better at that.
Yeah.
And that was the main goal. When you told me that, I was like, that is so delicious to me.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it is helping. But whenever I get anxious, I'm like, fucking pills aren't doing anything.
Well, I also, to be clear, I don't know what you went up to on Zoloft. I only felt negative effects until I hit 100 milligrams. And then it really did kind of feel like, whoosh. Yeah. Like, oh, nothing's as bad as I think it is.
So you were up to, every dosage when you were first getting it
like I started at 50 and it instantly, 2 days later, I could not come. Like I was hard and I was like jerking off and I couldn't, it felt like the orgasm was there. Like I felt good, but I finally squeaked out an orgasm.
Oh, no.
But then I went up to 75 and I still was like anxious and I was having like just difficulty coming, and I was like, my instinct is to throw this in the trash and never try pills again. And my psychiatrist was like, just like sit with me here, blah blah blah. And he went up to 100 and I felt it, and I was like, wow. Oh.
I don't remember the dose. I might have gotten up to 100, and I just still wasn't. Luckily, I wasn't feeling the cum stuff. Ironically, Lexapro, I feel less anxiety, but it does take me a little longer.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, is that such a bad thing?
I mean, depends on who you're asking, I guess.
That's true.
I prefer a guy to come fast.
Oh, of course.
Between fast and slow?
I'm not like an hour, but...
It's a little more time.
It takes a little more time, which honestly, I don't think is the worst thing for me.
No. Well, also, foreplay is where it's at. I love foreplay. So it's like, if that's where we're spending the extra time...
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
You're with someone you're very attracted to. The idea of foreplay comes up.
Okay.
Do you find in your brain that from kissing being the first place you go, is the next thing you want to do his mouth on your bunghole, your mouth on his D, you both D's and M's,
D's and M's.
F in your H, finger in your hole.
Okay, I was like, I don't even know what that is. Okay, so
kissing goes to what?
Well, first of all, it starts with like legs touching, or like maybe a foot, like you're on the couch, your feet are in his lap, he's like massaging your feet, and you're kind of like touching his dick a little bit.
Damn, you're good.
Yeah, and then you probably go to like a straddle him situation, and like before you even kiss him on the mouth, you like kiss neck a little bit. Yeah, you like, and then so you're baiting the mouth. Like,
oh
you're
my
like,
god!
You're like, I'm not kissing you yet. There could even be a moment where you peel up the shirt and like kiss his nipples or like lick his nipples a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you kiss, and then usually by that point the kiss is like, it's infused with like, you know, the spirits of our ancestors.
Of course.
And then making out, and then honestly, probably me like going on my mouth down his like chest, and then to his like, but again like around his like dick and balls, like focus on like the balls, like between like where the leg meets the pelvis, like that's like a really like sensitive spot. Like guys,
of course.
yeah, and lick, and then like up the shaft a few times, but like not do the head yet, and then you finally put the head in your mouth, and they're like.
I was so naive to think you were going to give me a simple answer. The amount of detail is so beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Have you ever considered, do you know those master classes where it's like, Steven Spielberg will teach you how to drive?
Zagnoi Towers teaches you how to get a bro off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was so poetic. I think ultimately your answer was
mouth to
D.
D. Wait, what's yours? I think mouth to B is like, for some reason, quite a jump.
I agree. I had a friend tell me that he was with someone and the hookup wasn't feeling incredible, and the guy went first kiss to mouth to B,
and
it was jarring for him.
Yeah, it's like a cold.
It's
like starting your car in the winter.
Yeah, it's
You know
like,
what I mean?
or you know what it is? It's like, if Gus Kenworthy were to go down the half pipe without doing a jumping jack, getting out of bed.
Yes, just whoosh.
If I know anything about snowboarding, but so
Gus Kenworthy related.
Well, I saw at a bar recently, and I was like, God, I live in LA.
He used to live up the street.
Shut up.
Like 2 blocks.
Is he someone that you would like to sleep with?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes, Gus, if you're watching, but also his past 2 partners have been like.
Well, you know, his past partner was the anti-Semitic line from And Just Like That on HBO Max.
Matt Wilkus?
Yeah, who I love. Not his fault.
He had an anti-Semitic line?
The character that he played, I shouldn't be around his life. I just can't get over that. They released this episode on Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Stop.
And the scene is a Shabbat dinner at Charlotte and Harry's. And Mario Cantone brings Matt Wilkus.
Uh-huh.
And it was supposed to be an ode to the old days of Sex and the City, where a joke would be a little jarring and like, oh my God, and then we move on. But his joke was that the Holocaust didn't happen. And like, again, no fault to Matt Wilkus. I had this conversation on my fucking podcast. If I were cast with an anti-Semitic line and Just Like That, would I say yes or no? And after a few minutes, I was like, what am I going to say no to Sarah Jessica Parker?
Yeah, I was going to say,
yes.
Yeah.
As a proud Jew.
Yes.
Yes. I'll say whatever the fuck you want. So.
Wait, did you remember what the joke was? And was it like a joke that the character didn't know?
He goes this. I'll tell you what it was. He walks in, he goes, oh, is this a Jewish dinner? Because it was Shabbat dinner. Oh, is this a Jewish dinner? And I think Harry Greenbuck goes, yeah. And I'm pretty sure he says, oh, well, you know the Holocaust didn't happen, right? Like that. Like that.
What?
Am I crazy?
No, I don't know.
I
believe you.
Or it was like, you know, it was that. I'm not making up a...
What happens after?
Mario Cantone goes, get out!
Okay.
And they kick him out.
Okay.
And so it's
Okay.
supposed to be like, oh, you brought a homophobic, anti-Semitic guy to
Person
this
to a
Shabbat
Shabbat,
dinner. God, Mario,
Get out.
Anthony's got another guy that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
And so, like, I get the impulse behind it. I do not think anyone associated with the show is anti-Semitic. It was just supposed to be a shock value joke
Sure.
that did not, and I think
And
they
it came
didn't
out-
look at the calendar.
Yeah.
So all this to say, I hate to bring it up when we talk about Matt Wilkes because
So hot.
so hot. One of the first times I visited LA, we were hiking and I saw him and I was like, God, he is so hot. But great person.
He's so talented.
So talented.
So talented.
Gus seems really lovely as well. I
Yes.
just couldn't help but bring that up.
Yeah, no. But if they're each other's type, I'm very safe.
Gus is not gonna
Yeah,
knock on your door.
He's not gonna. I swoosh down my slope.
You never, but maybe you'll end up dating someone that is Gus's type, and then the three of you will hang out.
Okay, I'll take a pity threesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like a sidebar. We've been opening several tabs.
I know.
I don't even know if I've asked you. I asked you about sex and eye fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you remember the first thing that made your coochie tingle?
Yeah, I do. The first thing that made my coochie tingle was very young. My father owns a pharmacy, and he would have these like businessmen come in to shop, like pick up prescriptions and whatnot. And I was like 7 or 8 years
Or like
old.
pedestrians,
Pedestrian.
customers.
Civilians.
Okay.
And they would be wearing these like, suit and tie, and I have had and always have had a daddy thing. And these were like daddies. And what I distinctly remember is I was looking at my Beanie Babies, minding my own, and these guys would walk in and pick up their prescription, and my coochie would tingle. I then would fall asleep at night. And it happened multiple times. I would dream about these men. And the reason why it's such a vivid image to me is that, because I remembering how young I was, in the dream, I would climb up their bodies, grab them by the face, and make out with them furiously. I was too young to know about sex.
Yeah.
But I remember feeling their scruff against my, virginal skin.
That's an interesting thing to be able to imagine.
Yeah, I know, because I think, I was such a sexual being even as a young person that I instinctively wanted to connect physically, and I just knew about kissing.
Yeah.
And then as the years went by, of course, it elevated and escalated, but that was what really first did it for me.
Do you still have a thing about men in suits? Or do you still have
Definitely
a daddy
daddies,
thing?
definitely
Is your
daddies.
partner daddy vibes?
He's not, but I either went daddy or the conventional attractive guy that would maybe bully you in high school. But
What a curse.
What a curse. I mean, because he is bluish eyes, great bone structure, he's pretty athletic. He to me was honestly also probably the opposite of Jewish. He was maybe that's, I was I could never get him because I'm a little charactery, nerdy, hairy, whatever it is.
Sure.
And so it's I don't know if and then the fact that he was into me, turns out he loves an otter, so
okay.
lucky me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's either daddy or that, all American.
Yeah.
But nowadays, if I see a bald guy with a beard, Jesus H.
Oh, you go
so into
a
it.
little crazy.
So into it.
I don't get why people have such hang-ups about bald guys.
I could talk about that for so long. I really think about so much about why society makes balding such a thing.
Right. That men go great. They get so scared.
So scared, and it's so widespread, natural. I'm literally talking about myself. I went to a dermatologist 8-9 years ago, and I was I think I might be losing some hair, and she was if you could do Propecia, but you might lose your sex drive. And I literally said to this lovely woman, let's call her Jane, I was Jane, I'd rather be bald and fucking than not fucking at all. And so I didn't take Propecia because I didn't want to lose my heart on.
Yeah.
Cut to 5 years later, I was give me the fucking Propecia. I do not care if I ever touch a soul again. And so I started it, and I did the Rogaine thing, and I've kept what I need, and I feel fine.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a place of insecurity for me.
Right, yeah.
And it's when I see another bald man,
You're like, oh.
I'm like, fuck, you're so hot.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, bald men that pull it off with, like the beard, handsome face, it's so sexy to me.
Agreed. And there's, like, maybe the sexiness comes in where he's, like, owning it.
Yes.
When, instead of, like, someone who's, like, well, I'm not shaming people who wear a wig or anything either. It's just,
No.
I'm just like, oh, like, he's just being himself.
He's
like,
just being himself, and I think the worst thing you can do if you're in that place, and I never want to be in this position, where you've lost enough hair and you are holding on to what was, and you don't go to the next chapter of your life, which is buzzing, shaving, whatever.
Yeah.
I never want to walk into a room and be like, ugh!
You, like, there's light goes right through it. It's like the 18 strands.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, like, if I get to that point, just shave it off. We
hold me down.
Hold me down.
Shave it off.
Is it a close buzz? Exactly. Like, I'll donate to the poor girl's doll collection because it's not enough for a wig.
Oh my god, it's like the scariest doll ever.
Like really long, wispy, thin hair. Yeah. So I do love a bald man.
Yeah.
Why'd you ask me that?
I don't know. Well, we started with, I asked if you still had a thing for Suits, and then we went to Daddy's, an all-American boy, and then you're like, but you volunteered the bald guy with the beard.
Yeah, I brought up Propecia on my own.
I've been on Propecia for a long time, and it hasn't affected my sex drive.
I really resent that doctors have to say that to people because I think it deters a lot of people, and the earlier you go on it, the better.
Also, it's placebo effect, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, it's worse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, first thing that made... Oh, do you remember when you discovered your body? Like...
Yeah, it's so funny because I have such vivid flashbacks when you bring it up.
Probably because you're so sexual.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I just... remember, I think... You know what? I didn't even read about masturbation. I don't think I knew much at all. All I knew was I was going to take a bath.
But I had other plans.
Oh God, I had plans. And what I did, I remember, like, I think I was, like, hard, and then I think I was just not even, like, masturbating. I think I was touching, rubbing, maybe, like, a palm. Why are you looking at me like that?
Trying to... I wasn't touching. I was rubbing.
No, I wasn't, like...
palming it, and I'm just, like,
slapping,
batting your dick around like a fucking cat.
I'm really flexible, so I hit my forehead against it. No, I think I wasn't, like, full grip.
Sure.
I wasn't going up and down. I think I was, like, palm and then dick against my abdomen. And then
pushing it.
Yeah.
Okay. A rubber.
You know, this doesn't feel safe anymore. I think the looks I'm being given feel really judgmental. And for this being a sex podcast, it feels really sex negative.
I am shaming so hard.
You did what?
You're
Can
right.
you imagine? You bring every guest on and you make them feel
like,
so horrible.
Oh my god. No
You
one's
suck at
ever
where?
said that before.
It's disgusting. A movie theater? People are watching movies. You know what? I'm calling the cops. So I wasn't masturbating, but I was rubbing enough that I ended up coming. And I know a lot of people on your podcast are like, nothing came out or whatever.
Like, suck him out.
Suck him out. But I thought I was peeing.
Okay.
I did not know what was happening. I thought I was peeing. I was like, fuck, I'm like laying in my own urine. Years later, I realized it was cum. It fully was cum. I thought I peed on myself. But
it felt good.
It felt great.
Okay.
And so what ended up kind of spawning from that is I quickly learned that I had masturbated, and then I hit puberty before my twin brother had. And so I remember...
How much before?
I don't know when he first jacked off. We never talked about it, but I would have to say a while. I mean, I was...
They're coming all over the place.
I was incessant. I was like 6 feet tall at like 13 years old.
Oh
when we
my!
were bar mitzvah
That should not be allowed. That should
No.
not be. No 13-year-old should be 6 feet tall.
My shoe size, my feet have not grown since I was 13, and they're a size 13.
That's...
Can you imagine how awkward I was? And also, I was like, baby weight, puberty, aggressive gay thoughts in St. Louis, Missouri. So, like, you know very well, it's like having a twin brother who was 5 feet tall, whose voice hadn't changed. It was such a weird time, and so I was so secretive about it. And when I actually had Fat Carrie Bradshaw or Chris Burns on my podcast, we talked about a website that like helped me out during those days called jackinworld.com. Did you ever go to it? It's literally about masturbation techniques, and that was my gateway drug into like looking at gay shit. Because I was like, I'm just learning how to masturbate.
Yeah. It's like,
Then I
oh,
went
more
on
dicks, yeah.
LimeWire, download videos of men
Jerking
jerking off. I'm not watching porn.
I'm just learning.
I'm learning. This is a study. And so...
Were you in denial to yourself? When
yeah.
did you know? When did you know?
You
When
know,
did you
Zach,
know?
I think I deep down always
Of
knew.
course.
Deep down always knew. But I would literally play a horrible game. So you have a ball of paper in school. And you say, if I make it into this trash can over there, I'm going to throw it. If I make it in, I'm not gay. I
Stop.
played that game for years in my head. That's sad.
That's why you hate sports.
Wow, you're right. I never put that connection. So I would and of course it would miss. I'd be like, fuck. That happened for years. And I remember at some point, literally junior year of high school, a little too late, or maybe even the beginning of senior, I would be in the shower and be like, ugh, dude, you are so gay. But you're just not gonna tell anyone or just deal with it yet. And that actually helped me.
Yeah.
Because it was my next chapter of not trying not to be gay, of just accepting a part of it. And then, of course, the end of my senior year, I did come out finally.
Yeah.
And it felt so good, and of course sucked because coming out sucks. But yeah.
I hate that it's still a thing.
Yeah, but I think I did. I wasn't done out to myself because I so didn't want to be.
Why? Because
Why didn't I
of
wanna be?
was the attitude towards gay in your home bad, or just Missouri in general?
I think Missouri in general, it was not in my home bad. I'll tell you what it was. That's, my parents are so supportive and great. And when I came out, I never felt unloved. But I think they would admit this, and it is a learning moment for us all. When I got made fun of for being gay, I was told, just because they're saying you're gay doesn't mean you're not. Just doesn't mean that you are gay. Which, when you think about it, of course, that's trying to tell your child that you are not being defined by other people, and there is love. But subconsciously, you are being told it might not be true.
Yeah, you don't have to be.
Maybe you're not, though. But what if you're not?
Yikes.
And so that, I think, and also just the world, right? It's Midwest, 90s, early 2000s. There's so much of it's gonna be hard. We didn't know anyone. The only person that I knew that was gay was the guy that cut my whole family's hair, Ernesto, who we love, and then a couple people at my school that were not
popular. Oh,
brunette. I'm kidding. They were not super liked because that's not even true. One of them kind of was. The other one,
but you saw they had a rough go of it.
They had a rough go, and they weren't. Yeah, they weren't always talked about in a great way. And one of them, I only remember two. One of them, unfortunately, dealt with their queerness by making other people uncomfortable in a way that was trying to just get some attention. So to the straight guys, touching them, it was almost confirming stereotypes that a gay person will.
You want me to suck your dick?
Yeah, exactly. And so I was that's not an option for me. I'm not gonna be that.
No.
So that's why I came out a month before I graduated high school. So I guess that's that is kind of deep and dark when you think about it, but it was also a product of the times.
Totally. And you're everyone had their suspicions, and you just
100%.
confirmed it.
Well, God, it's so crazy because I was so obviously gay. I lip-synced Dreamgirls to my whole school.
Sure.
Who would think I was straight? My twin brother was just because we didn't know any gay people.
Are you guys identical?
Very fraternal.
Okay.
He and we're close now. He's the most beautiful baby.
Aww.
He's still very short, works in finance. He was kind of a shit disturber in high school. I'm just gonna fucking push your buttons and be annoying, and you're just God, that sucks.
That's my thing.
That's my thing. Do you know what he would do? He would walk into the bedroom, and he would go to me. Keep in mind, he had no idea it was gay. Just because he was annoying, he would go, I heard a rumor. And I'd be like, fuck. They know I'm gay.
Yeah.
I would go, what? What's the rumor? And he'd just walk away.
Ew!
Isn't that so
what
mean?
A piece of shit.
I know, he was a piece of shit. And he would admit it too. But he now, I think, we talked about it. He's he grew out of it. And I don't know what happened. He's the most soft-spoken, sweet, calm. He woodworks. He bakes.
So do you. You would work.
Of course I fucking, as I'm like deep throating your microphone.
He bakes.
Yeah,
He's a baby.
He has a baby. He and his wife are like the sweetest. Like, and he's, I mean, like, truly took a. He must have had some introspective something.
Yeah,
He's
what
really sweet.
happened?
I have no idea. I really don't, because like it just kind of gradually was like, oh, he's like now kind of shy and like sweet. I truly don't know. But
Near death experience.
yeah, I think he got it out of his system. I don't know. But when I came out to him, the reason I bring this up is because my monologue when I came out, which really is now, God, this is like therapy. What happened is I would say to people, I don't want to be gay, but I'm finding out that I am, and I'm learning to be okay with that. Which at the time really was my truth.
Yeah.
I like have grown up trying not to be, but I am, and I'm just gonna have to accept it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying like, and I'm gonna have to accept this fucking horrible life. I was
Right,
like, no,
like,
I'm actually gonna like
just-
love myself.
Yeah.
It was like what I hope that the subtext was. And he said to me, but wait a minute, if you don't want to be gay, then you're not. I was like, oh, sweet. No, I am.
No.
I want to suck so many guys. But he just didn't really understand it. And then, like, you know, he was like in my wedding.
Yeah.
He, you know, it's such a journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it has some like tough growing pains and like happy ending, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. What was your first sexual experience with another person?
I went to NYU, so can you imagine going from St. Louis, coming out a month before you graduate, and then moving to New York City at 18?
No.
So
Wait, did you not touch anyone in high school?
No.
Wow.
I had a girlfriend that we tried to hook up once, and I was so flaccid, it was like embarrassing. And you know what I told her? I said, sorry, I jacked off this morning. As if like you can only get one erection a day.
Especially at 17.
Right? I mean, she wasn't it. I mean, I don't talk to her, but she was such a like she could have
So
done so
sweet.
much damage.
Yeah.
I felt she broke up with me because she was like, I just feel like you don't care for me. I was like, I don't. So I didn't touch any guy.
Wow.
And we needed to have a quick St. Louis connection moment here. I did shows at the Muni, which we've talked about, and I was like surrounded by all these closeted gay guys, and not once did we ever hook up.
Not only the closeted gay guys, but like the adult, like the equity performers
Yes.
that were in from like NYU or like
University of Michigan.
Yeah, those dudes were hot.
So hot. I mean, can you imagine like the sexual awakening we had? Like, there's a guy that was in one of like the big musicals on Fox or whatever, like
Oh, the
they
live
did.
ones.
He was also a dancer in Pink's music video. His name is Colt, like Prattes. If you Google this name, he's straight, but one of the sexiest men you've ever seen.
Okay.
Like Gus Kenworthy, he's almost too attractive. Gus Kenworthy wouldn't date him because he's like too like, oh, you're just too perfect looking.
Oh, okay.
So he was in the equity ensemble at the Muni, and
Oh.
I was like, who the fuck? And like again, like closeted.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, I very much am attracted to him, but like, let's run away from that idea. So yeah, no, I didn't touch anyone. And so
Wow.
my freshman year of college
In NYU.
at NYU, I had my.
Did you do acting there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I had my first kiss was like a month in, and it was electric.
I bet.
It was so I immediately got hard. I ran away and told a friend. I called.
How
a
did
friend.
it happen? You just.
Oh, so
jumped.
I didn't know if you wanted to just go straight to the sexual moment. This was just.
Oh, this is so
So here's what happened.
Okay.
Full circle of me being a Jew. I was with a friend that is like one of my closest friends to this day, and she and I went to a Shabbat thing at like NYU's Hillel, and with her was a Jewish gay that was in her musical theater program. I was in Atlantic Acting Company, like straight theater. They were musical theater, and he, so handsome, randomly from Atlanta, Georgia, where Matt is also from. Ooh. And he goes to sing. My friend was such an ally and a wing woman. She leaves us at the end of the night. She goes, I'm going to meet up with some friends. And so the two of us are standing together outside of his dorm. Could she not have done a better job?
My God.
He's like, do you want to come up and watch Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion? I was like, do I?
You're like, literally, that sounds perfect.
Perfect. Unfortunately for me, though, we watched the whole movie.
What?
I was like, the whole time just like on the couch, just like, this is so funny. Like waiting for him to like do any move. Touch.
Wait,
look.
you guys were not touching?
No, like I think it was his first time too. We were like September of your freshman year. I mean,
Both
we were
freshmen.
both freshmen, so new. And so we didn't touch the whole movie. And so the movie ends, and I was like, okay, that was a bust. And so I go to leave. Literally, I'm walking out of his dorm room. And he goes, wait a minute. And he like, I'm facing the door. He turns me around, pushes me against the door, leans in, and kisses me. And then, it was so hot. Oh my God. I, of course, like, grow in my pants. And we made out. There was tongue. And I was like, all those years pent up of wondering what it would feel like to feel a man's stubble on my face, to like kiss an actual sexy man. I was vibrating. I was electric from head to toe. And then the thing that killed it is he goes, it's always better against a wall. I was like, okay, I'm going. It's like worse.
He's like, what?
Because he was trying to be like a dominatrix of like, and now I'm going to give you a line. Like he was performing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I did, of course, didn't let it ruin the moment.
No.
Because then I walked out and I was like, forgot about that horrible line. And then called my friend. I was like, oh my God. So that was my first kiss. And then, of course, I wanted to see him every moment after. And then he met up with me. He was like, I'm not interested. I don't want to be in a relationship. And then we never hung out again. Like, I was immediately heartbroken. And it was like a very, I said this at the time and I still feel this now. I was in like the elementary school of dating.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to date.
Same exact.
Yeah. And it's like, I really, okay, I had a crush. He broke my heart. It's like the playground, the sand in my face. That's what just happened. And then my first sexual thing is devastating because I have a friend who's visiting me in LA literally in like 3 days. And it was on her bed that I sucked my first dick. So I can't wait to tell them I'm talking about this. I went on a double date. And this guy was like, of the like blue-eyed, brown hair, tall, probably hairy, like handsome, but no personality. And I tend to go for guys that are a little more introverted, but like, come on now.
Something.
Give me a conversation.
Yeah.
So the whole date was a bust. But we're at a party. I take him to a party with all my friends. And what ended up happening is I ditch him to be with my friends to be silly and giggle. And then one of my sassy bottom friends was like, you know, Will's been sitting by himself for a long time. And I was like...
You nailed the bottom voice.
And I was like, thanks, John. So then I go to Will, and we end up migrating to a bedroom where everyone was like watching a video. Everyone leaves the bedroom except for me and him. Just like naturally over the course of a few minutes. And so I'm like, I guess this is what happens, right? So we're sitting on the bed, we start making out, and I think I initiated. I was like, enough's enough.
Yeah.
And so we suck each other off, and why it's devastating is that like while I'm blowing him, I'm pretty sure he was like healthy sized. Of course, I feel like your first dick, you don't know
Big,
what it is,
yeah.
so you just like
Big.
assume it's. But I'm pretty sure by today's standards, it would still be
Well,
considered big.
did you compare it to your own?
It must have been bigger than mine. Maybe that's why I felt that way. It must have been like girthy and long.
Sure.
You know?
Just different looking.
And mine's like, I'm going to start to go on mine. I love my dick. I think his was bigger than mine. So I probably was like, fuck.
Whoa.
And so.
Was he good at kissing and sucking dick?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a bummer.
And I think I was not good either because he went, ooh, less teeth. And I said, I didn't know I was using it.
Yeah.
And that's, but it was really gross. Do you enjoy when people go graphic?
Yeah. Oh my God. There is nothing I like more than the nitty gritty.
Well, this I wish was like hot graphic, but what ended up happening is that he came and then I came, but I watched him instead of like being an adult human being that cleans up yourself, he just like pulled up his underwear, went, and then walked back into the party. And so I was like, closed my underwear with cum on my stomach. And then I think I went back to the party but I was also in the dorm I was staying in. So soon after I went up and like did the thing, but I was like, this is so disgusting. Again, we didn't know anything. Freshman year.
I'm a little lost in that one.
He's judging me again. It's like,
no! I just started to put myself in the position where it's like, I've been jerking off for years now. I don't normally leave it on myself.
It wasn't our first experience.
But were you like a little drunk too? Maybe?
I'm sure, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
I might have also, because I didn't know what I was doing, followed his lead. Like, this is like hooking up at a party. You just like,
I think that's what it was. I think I followed his lead because he was giving the air of having had done it before. And he just did that.
Okay, there's also something kind of hot because you described kind of like a bro,
Yeah.
like a dumb bro,
Yeah.
and like a bro who just like like I'm gross, like
big dicked dumb bro.
yeah. There's a little something that's hot about him, not caring that he has cum on him.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know what's really weird about it is that after it, I felt like because it was kind of a weird experience, I didn't want to like. And also because we didn't have like a lot of good conversation, I found out I kind of ghosted him, and I found out like he was like hurt and upset that I like stopped hanging out with him.
Wow.
So like maybe he was like an emotionally in touch with himself, bro. I don't know. But one of my only regrets from college times is that I wasn't a little more slutty.
Really?
There was a guy that I hooked up with who I was blowing him and he would not come.
Refused.
Literally stared
Had
me in
his
my eyes
arms
and was
crossed.
like, yeah, he was like, not today, mister. And so I finally was like, is everything okay? And then he was like, it's embarrassing. I was like, what's embarrassing? He's like, ugh, it's embarrassing. I was like, just tell me what's going on. He said, quote, I'm such a bottom. I can only come by getting fucked. And I was a virgin at this point. And I should have just done it. But in my mind, probably from like my Midwestern upbringing, I'm like, it has to be special.
Whatever you give yourself to, you need the connection.
Like I like felt that, and so I was like, look at just
Be special.
just like I said no, and he goes, I'm never gonna see you again, am I? And I was like, don't say that. I never saw him again. I was my own worst enemy of like.
Well, no, you just had to unlearn a bunch of stuff.
I had to unlearn a bunch of stuff because I then ultimately did lose my virginity my sophomore year of college.
What did that look like? Putting your dick in someone or them putting their dick in you?
He said to me, so what do you want to do? Do you want me to put it in you or you and me? And I was like, you please. I'll put it in you, please.
Oh.
And so I put it in him.
I
And
put it in him. Your voice got a
I
little
put it in
deeper.
him. And the fucking bottom just... No, we were like so bad at it. Where like, I put a condom on. It didn't last very long. I doubt I like came in him or like... I think we're just like, okay, we put it in and out a few times.
That's it.
That's it. I didn't really get good at sex until I had my first boyfriend, which was my, I think, junior year.
Okay.
And I was a total top in the relationship. He was the bottom, and this guy was a pro.
Oh, so he was just ready.
Holy shit, he was good. Yeah.
That must have been fun and freeing.
Incredible. Are you kidding? I mean, yeah, it was like, it was my first love.
Oh.
We were so intense with each other, and the breakup was devastating.
How long were you together?
Close to 2 years, like
Wow.
a year and a half.
So after college or almost to the
So
end
you know
of
what it
college?
was is that we met the summer after my junior year. We dated for a while, and then I studied abroad, and we were like, actually, this is crazy. We were still together, and I studied in Paris, and I wanted to do that for so long. And so I said to him, even though we've only been together for a little bit, can we be in an open relationship while I'm there in case I need a hot Parisian?
Yeah.
What am I gonna, because I knew deep down I probably wasn't gonna marry him.
Oh, interesting. You were so in love though and so
I know.
intense, but you were like, but also.
I also knew I was 21.
Okay.
And so I was like, a part of me, we said to each other we wanted to get married.
Uh-huh.
Like, we're like, when our wedding? But also the other part of me was like, I don't know. And so then I, unfortunately, was studying abroad and never hooked up with someone. Although I had the most incredible eye fucking on the train with someone. He was so hot. We were looking back and forth. I talked to him. We walked out. He got my phone number. He only spoke French, and then he said to me, we set a date to hang out, and he said to me in French, why did you approach me on the metro? And I was trying to not sound like a slut, and so I said, because should I do English and a French accent? I said, I was like, I'm new to Paris, I just want to make some French friends and then see what happens. Which, of course, I actually wanted to hook up with him.
Yeah.
But he kept asking me, but why did you approach me? Because I think he wanted confirmation that we were going to hook up.
Oh.
And then he ghosted me. Because I don't think I was like...
Because you didn't say, I want to fuck.
Je veux sucer ton dick. Yeah, I didn't say that.
Did I want to suck your dick?
Yeah,
Like,
so it's been a while. But, so I didn't hook up with anyone, but yeah, I got back from
But he
Yeah.
said yes to being open.
He said reluctantly yes. He was not
Oh.
happy. And then he said yes. And then we were passionately together. We broke up once. I cried the whole subway ride from the Upper East Side where he lived to Brooklyn. And then a month later, after I was starting to finally feel like strength come back to me, like a strong, independent woman, he asked to get coffee and he asked to get back together. And my gut dropped because I knew that the safer option, I knew the more comfortable option would be to be back in a relationship.
Yeah.
But I knew it wasn't the right decision.
Mm.
Of course I said yes. So then we kiss, and the kiss felt like, you know, in a movie like like this bass plays, there's like a foreboding. That's what played in my mind. I was like,
Oh, yeah, like I made the wrong decision.
yeah. And then we were together for like 3 or 4 more months, and we fought all the time. And then I saw my friend's horrible show, like off Broadway.
Uh-huh.
It's fucking terrible.
Okay.
I saw
What's the name of the show in the front?
He knows it was bad.
Okay.
I bring it up because my ex dumped me after that show, and I was like, "Daniel, your fucking show's so bad."
It ended the relationship I didn't want to be in
Exactly.
in the first place.
And I was actually grateful that once he left, I was like, okay. And then I was single for a while, did not want to sleep with anyone because I was like not into it. And then I finally started dating again, hooked up with some daddies, met a boy during Pride one week. It was like the most brilliant love story.
Was he visiting?
Visiting from Houston, Texas.
That's cool.
Had sex with him in his hotel an hour before he took a bus. Not to Texas, but he was going to Boston. I don't remember why. Yeah, so like...
But you like met him and exchanged numbers.
Yeah, I
and
met
then,
him at
like,
a party through a friend, exchanged numbers, and then we went out 3 days in a row. And then we made out all over New York. I'd never done that before. And then an hour before he left, we had sex.
Why an hour before? Just to use like...
Oh yeah, I just realized why. I was like, why was it? Because I found out his mom was staying with him. And he had to get her out of there.
And like she left first.
She left on a different flight, I
That
guess.
is so funny.
Can you? And he was like, of course, like a little horny bottom that just like, Mom,
Get out of here! I need to get
I
fucked!
want to hang out with my friends. And by that I mean, get fucking loaded up.
Wow. I also can't imagine bringing my mom to Pride and sharing a
know.
hotel room. I'm like,
I didn't know, and I don't know the backstory there because like, what
what happened?
happened there, babe?
Hillary Rodham, what happened? Okay, wait. Now we're at college. No, we're out of college at this point.
We are out of college at this
But
point.
you're in New York.
I'm in New York, so I had been broken up with my ex, single, a little slut phase, and then I met Matt,
Auditioning
like 4 months later.
in Wisconsin.
Well, it was in New York, but the theater was in Wisconsin.
What a bait and switch.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay, and it was like, God, you guys have been together 9 years, you said?
Almost.
And sex life has been good. I never know what's okay to ask about
no,
partners.
and you're so conscientious. And sex life has been good. What's so interesting about it is that I actually had the privilege of peeing in your home, and I noticed that you have a Tushy bidet.
Yeah.
And I know this is not an ad, but I listen to my podcast. I might be doing an ad with them, but stay tuned.
Cool.
We got our Tushy bidet like 2 months ago. It has changed my life. Like I said in these stories, like tops a lot, and I still had and have, but I didn't know how to bottom when I first met Matt.
I forgot you're beginning your...
Yeah, I
bottom journey.
really, and like when I found out that he would enjoy doing both, I was like, well, fuck, I need to learn how to do this. I
Yeah.
want to be a good partner.
Yeah.
And I went through like the bottom Olympic trials. I like tried to train.
Butt plugs?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was so not bad at it. I was so not accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish there were more resources. I'm sure there are now, even 8 years later, but like...
Wait, you started training 8 years ago?
Like when we first started dating, I started
Okay.
training. I'll bring up the Tushy bidet. The bidet will have a full circle moment. But when I just like didn't know like how to feel comfortable, like cleanly wise, physically wise, and so I did end up getting a plug that was like a nice gateway, and I ended up like literally it took me years to figure out how to do it in a way that like still felt good, but it wasn't like a natural bottom.
Right.
I wasn't like
Let's go!
and now I'm open, and like sit on it.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. The reason why and so like over the years I've gotten like literally progressively better
Sure.
over like 8 years.
Yeah.
Just to like enjoy it and like be good at it. This bidet has like unlocked something in my mind where it like gives me a sense of security or just like cleanliness, and also like just the attention being paid down there
Sure,
gives me a hunger,
My butthole.
and I am calling it my bottom revolution.
A hunger.
Because I am so good at it now.
Well, this is a great ad for Tushy.
I know. I mean, and that's why I think we're gonna be working together, because it's such like a true passion.
Yeah, you're like, I would talk about it anyway.
I would talk about it anyway, and I am so grateful because I have never enjoyed it so much as I do now.
But you like actually think like, oh, I'm excited to bottom.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do.
What are some tips and tricks that you have learned over the years?
Great question. What I've learned over the years is, like we've talked about with foreplay, to learn how to first enjoy receiving oral down there.
Mm-hmm.
When I first received it from someone else, it
Yeah.
was my first time, I went, like,
Yeah,
screamed. I scream laughed.
Sure.
Because it just felt so foreign. So
Like,
once,
that's my butthole.
yeah, like, what do you
Your
do?
poop comes out.
That's like a wet surface on there. That's not the pool. And so I learned to enjoy that, and that gives you like the sensation of like, oh, this feels good. That can be good. Make good feelings kind of correlate to that part of your
Sure.
body. And then the plug, absolutely. It's all about being in control of the teasing. Tease. If I led a course, one chapter would be just on the tease, because
Okay.
if we're going to get specific,
I love
if you're first bottoming and you're really not used to it or don't know how to do it to make it feel good, if the top is laying on his back and you are, straddling him, just you control the motion and you
Yes.
tease so gingerly. I'm talking like just like, like in porn when they like slap it against.
Yeah.
Like you can like just introduce the idea of the skin touching you. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a little tease.
Yeah.
Then put a little bit of pressure. That's a tease.
Uh-huh.
And like do that 20 times if you want.
Yes.
And then maybe it'll start to creep in, but so little that like you're barely noticing it.
And your body finally goes,
and then you're gobble, baby.
gobble, gobble.
And the next thing you know, your
It's
balls
in
keep
there.
getting rammed by a daddy in Santa Monica. I mean, like, yeah.
I love that. I will say the turning point for me was absolutely what you just said, straddling the top.
Yeah.
And because you control how much of the dick is in you at any given time.
And it feels so bad when the top is controlling and then
You're
you're not receiving it well, because then you feel like you're a bad and you're
Yeah.
not being a good sexual
Yeah.
partner. When you're the one controlling, you're like, this is my show. I know this feels good for you still, and
Yeah.
it's gonna feel better for me. And then
Goodbye.
and then it feels good for both, versus like, ow, 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 don't. And
Ow,
like,
ow, ow, ow.
you both don't like that.
I've been so scared sometimes being like on my back getting fucked, and I'm like, you cannot thrust all the way in. Like, you can't slam all the way in for a while. And there's
Yeah.
like a terror that they're gonna do it. That I'm like, don't slam your whole dick in me, because I'm gonna pop somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what's really crazy is like positions can be such a graduation. Like if you find like the sitting on top, for years, that's all I did.
Yeah.
Do not move me. Do not put me on my side. Do not make me do anything else. And then I'm like literally having visions of me like getting railed right now. But like I just like
So is everyone else.
I just like have now graduated, and partly because of the bidet, to positions I've never done before.
Like
I never. If you had told me that I would be like on my stomach,
oh, interesting.
never.
Like flat on your stomach.
Yeah.
With your pee up.
Yeah.
Are you hard when you're getting fucked?
Yeah.
Nice.
My ex would be in that position, and as the top, I would be like, it was such an oasis. I was like, there's only so much time I can do this. And so to be able to give that to someone else.
Wait. It's someone on their stomach is like the hottest for you?
It's for the feeling it feels for the top.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because like, let's say like they put their stomach on your back,
Oh yeah.
and you just have full body connection.
Yeah. And you're like as much skin to skin contact.
Yeah, it's so intimate.
So on the side does that too, kind
Yeah.
of. And they can put like a
Oh.
And I'm holding myself in a chokehold.
Like, that's beautiful.
But yeah, that's so sweet. Yeah, and there's something about a guy's mouth being like behind my ears or like next to my neck.
Yeah.
And then you can like crane backwards and like kiss if you want, but it's not really about that at that time.
No.
I don't think I've ever really enjoyed doggy style. Am I broken? He's smiling like a fucking Cheshire cat over here.
I did Cheshire cat it. It went from like Kate Moss purse to full Cheshire. I don't think you're doing it wrong. I think that it will happen for you.
Thank you. I do. My body does react very differently to different shapes and sizes.
Oh, I'm sure, and that's what I don't have much experience with
Because
of
you have
other
this-
shapes and sizes.
The set.
Yeah, I
The
really
factory
don't.
setting.
The factory setting. I mean, Cupertino. I just like, and that is. You know, when you talk about people who are like dating a partner who's like so big and it's uncomfortable for them, like I have friends who say that, and that's another ball game where you just have to figure out how to meet in the middle and just like learn how, because I think all sizes can feel great.
Yeah.
If you have a small dick, great. You are valid. You are sexy, and you're gonna make your bottom feel good, or you're gonna feel good.
Yeah.
If you're too big, it will still feel good.
But they might die.
They might die. There might be a life lost.
Wait, do you have any like sex goals? I know bottoming is like a big one. Do you foresee anything, or do you see anything in your sex life that you wish like more for?
What a good question. Any goals? I would say, you know what, honestly, I would just say like continuing the path of this revolution and see where that takes me, and I don't know where that goes.
So true.
I mean, I think that you are probably an icon in the bottoming world. I think like you are an example, and as we said,
I'm trying to set a good example for bottoms. Bottoms really get shit on, ironically.
Which one do you think about it?
But yeah.
Yeah, I think like when I like would talk to you last year, just like even your comedy of like hearing all these things about how you bottoming, I was like, that confidence is so something I wish I had, and I am only starting to
got it, baby.
really unleash that confidence. But it's, you know what it also is I think like the Midwesternness of when I first came out. I think, not proud to admit this, but I think I had an internalized homophobia.
Sure.
That topping was the manly thing.
Yes.
And the bottoming thing was not the desirable
It was
position.
the faggy one.
Yeah, I was like,
The girl, which was the girl, which was the boy.
I don't want to be the faggy one. And so then that's probably partly why I had like the mental things in the middle. But now that I've realized that it's completely been put on by society, I'm like, where does the bottoming road lead?
Totally.
That's maybe the name of my poetry book.
Where does the bottoming road lead?
Robert Frost-esque.
I'm
poems.
crying already.
Yeah, it's about fucking.
I'd buy that book if it was at Urban Outfitters, you know?
It'd be Urban. Yeah, there's another book I'm writing that's called Two Things. I'm Not Famous, 1, and 2, That's Fucked Up.
Wait, is that real?
I thought about it.
It's funny.
It's a narcissist guide to something.
That's for the editor to come up with.
And that's a random house penguin to do her thing.
Okay, let's play a round of hot or not. I'm gonna say things and you tell me if you find them hot or not.
Great.
Okay, spanking.
Not for me, but hot for others.
It's so funny how many people qualify.
Because you think
Everyone's
it's
like, no, I'm king.
I'm not king shaming.
Because everyone's so afraid of being canceled. Go on.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Choking.
Hot.
Okay. On either side, or do you like to choke the person?
Either. I think it's such a like amazing dance to find out like, does the limit exist? Where does it exist? And to whom?
Sure. Spit.
Not.
Yeah, your face was saying.
I mean, I was about to qualify it. I'm just gonna.
Before.
You know what? For the rest of these hot or nots, I'm not gonna qualify. I'm just gonna say it personally. Go for it. Not. Fucking gross.
You hear it. You heard it here first. He thinks spitting, anytime it's done.
Jail. If you
gross.
spit, you don't deserve rights.
Feet.
Not.
Bondage. Like being tied up.
Honest answer is have not done, but hot.
Okay. Water sports. It's pee-pee.
Not.
Okay. Sounding. That's when people put...
No! Absolutely
So-
not.
I know, that's so funny. It's like, I get a shiver, like a cold shiver up the base of my spine.
Literally.
When I think of a knitting
It wasn't
needle.
base of spine. I get like my groin area like starts to pull inward. It's
Away
like-
from the instrument.
Yeah.
Low hanging balls.
Hot. Yeah.
Okay.
Balls are balls. It's not. I don't love.
Oh, you don't like. Okay.
No, I love like balls and like the pulling of them. But if I see low hangers, I'm not like I want to weigh those with my tongue. It's not my first impulse.
I honestly got into balls right before the pandemic, and just like big like hangy balls are like cool.
I mean, there's something very primal.
Yes. There's like gonna be a slapping.
Yeah.
Like, rimming.
Hot.
Come.
Hot.
Sex outdoors.
Hot. I've always wanted to do like a camping moment.
Go on.
But like if my tissue bidet's not there.
True. That might have to revert to homophobic total top.
Oh yeah. I would love to do that.
Bend over that log, you fucking dirty
Very broke.
Goldilocks slut.
Oh. I'm with like bright blonded haired like pigtails. Yeah, no, I would be I would do a Brokeback moment.
Would you ever do Burning Man?
I was just talking about this with my friend who has been to Burning Man this weekend. When he told me that he was in his RV for 35 hours to get into Burning Man, like there were like such a long line. I was like, I'm not doing that.
I hear stories like that. I've been twice, and I know.
Oh my god.
It's great, and you should go.
I want to go.
So I think the time he was talking about maybe was when there was massive rain the day before, and like the ply was really wet, and they were really worried about destroying it, so they were like slow.
Oh,
letting
maybe.
people in.
I'll ask him if that was the year, because the way he describes it, I very much have been and been getting more into like the very LA like being centered.
Yeah.
I'm wearing right now a bracelet that I bought at a crystal shop.
Yes, you are.
That is like all about, it's giving me some good energy, and like
Is it green?
It's green, yeah.
Do you remember Oz? Does that mean anything to you? It's a sequel to Wizard of Oz.
No.
Oh my god, you gotta watch it.
I just found out there was a sequel because Matt, I'm not joking, Zach, he has ruby slippers in a glass case in our apartment.
Has he seen it?
The sequel, I don't know, I'm gonna ask him. But the first Wizard of Oz, he is so... We walked down the aisle to, how gay is this? Over the Rainbow, like a very sweet, like, acoustic version.
I don't like that at all.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna shame you for the third time.
You can, because I actually, on my podcast, had Jay Jordan on, and I was, like, starting to feel, like, embarrassed about, like, the gay things at my wedding. And he was, like, he actually made the opposite point, where he was, like, gay marriage has been around for so little, you can do whatever the fuck you want. There's no traditions. Like, what? You can't walk down over the rainbow? But, like, it is embarrassing.
It's beyond the institution of marriage. I wasn't actually even thinking about
No, I
that.
know
I was
that.
thinking about this song. I was like, if you had done like the Hawaiian guy, like ukulele, ooh. We were talking about.
You went Wizard of Oz too.
Oz. You have to watch it.
I will.
Especially Matt. It's dark as fuck.
Who's in it?
Fairuza Balk.
Bless you.
Did you see The Craft with Nev Campbell?
No. Oh no. I
You
hear
haven't
it.
seen
I
The
hear
Craft?
it's canon.
Are you 19 years old? Yes.
Yes. Why do I look like?
So Fairuza Balk was the bad guy in The Craft. She's the gnarly witch.
I can see it.
Okay.
I promise, because I've seen the reference.
She has eyeliner and like blue eyes.
Yeah.
She's Dorothy, and she's basically in, I think, an institution.
Was she also in other movies that I would have seen?
Maybe some.
Yeah.
But and I think she's like scheduled for like a surgery. I want to say a lobotomy the next day, and she runs away and she falls into a river, and then she wakes up in Oz. But this is after Oz has been ravaged by this wicked witch. Yeah.
Oh.
There's a room. you just gotta watch it.
I
Or
wanna
if you're-
have a
if you want-
watch party.
If you want to have a movie night, I'll totally. Oh God, I'm scared that's not good now that I'm pitching it.
But
But nothing's good.
Nothing's good.
It imprinted on me pretty hard.
Wait, I'm doing a Wizard of Oz sequel party.
Yes.
Come in your best
Come.
dystopian.
Come
Wizard
in
of
your
Oz
best
drag.
bottom.
Come in your best bottom, and then watch the movie.
But yeah, you have to watch it.
I will.
Okay, so the last thing is, what if you could speak to little Eric before he began his sexual journey? What advice would you give him?
This is so sweet.
Mm.
If I were to talk to little Eric before his sexual journey, I would say, you know what I would say? Is lower the fear, up the sleer. And that is a abbreviation for slut. I was trying to rhyme it. You need to...
Sleer sounded like a word in my head.
What did you think it meant?
Slutty.
See?
I heard sleaze, I think. Like sleazy.
Okay, so let me do it again. I would say to him... And no, don't edit this out. I was...
I'm not gonna.
I would say to him, lower the fear, up the sleaze. And that's not as good.
No, sleer is...
Sleer.
yeah.
Up the sleer, because when I... The worst title of this episode could be Up the
Up the
Sleer,
Sleer.
because no one knows what it means.
Wait, I already forgot. What did I say the episode title was gonna be? Did I say it
I
out
don't
loud?
think you did. You probably just said it in your head.
Damn it!
Fuck.
The Holocaust didn't happen.
With Eric Williams, who my last name doesn't sound Jewish, so people are gonna think that I'm just... Eric Williams was recently outed as an anti-Semite. That was the newscast. So
We were talking about Up the Sleer.
yeah, I think when I first came out, I was like many people, you've talked about on this very podcast, about like coming out, like your dad talked about Rent with you, of like there's like, you know, the most recent reference is like AIDS and the danger. And so I have a joke about this in my comedy that I like said that like my twin brother and I had sex talks minutes apart from each other. His was 3 minutes long. Wear a condom, have some fun, high five. My parents come into my room, and 3 hours later I was in tears because I found out an older gay man would violate my tushy, and then I would get HIV. And I have a Jewish mom, so I think I think her exact words were like, if you're not on PrEP by Rosh Hashanah, you will get AIDS by Chanukah. Like, that's the joke. She never talked about PrEP.
Sure, I was like, wow.
I put it on TikTok, and people were like, you're too old to be on PrEP at that age. I was like, I know. Like, all the comments were like, he's old. But
He's old.
literally, there was like, I'm doing the math. I'm like, why?
Don't.
How do we?
None of
Why
you
don't
are good
we?
at math.
Don't do the math. So, but my parents did say you need to be careful,
Yeah.
and that put into my head I'm gonna get, and I'm already
playing a
like
dangerous game.
yeah, and I was already neurotic and an overthinker and a Virgo and anxious and boo boo boo, and so I was so afraid
Dude.
of everything. And so if I could talk to my younger sexual self, I would say, be smart, and of course, like, you know, be aware. But if you want to get peed on at Central Park, which literally never happened and I never had a chance to, but like if like
I hear some regret.
and if it's 4 a.m. and it's on October 28th, I would say, like, have some fucking fun.
Yeah.
And try not to worry so much, and be the slut you want to be. I would say at the time, in my mind, I'm a huge slut.
Yeah.
But in practice, I'm not prude, but like I was just not as much, because a lot of it was fear.
I'm reading a whole book about that. You don't have to you don't have to be active to be a slut.
Ooh.
It's a mindset.
I mean, I'm probably then a
You're
slut.
a slut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always prided myself on like being open with people, and like if that means being that means I'm a slut, I think, like
Yeah.
socially and
Yes.
talkatively. Like,
Talkatively.
I love that. I think being a slut is great.
It is.
And that's probably also why
Be-
we have a podcast.
Be the slut you want to be. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. Maybe that's the episode
maybe
title.
that's it.
Be the slut you want to be.
That's my next book.
Where can people find you?
Follow me
Or-
on Instagram at Eric Wills, EricWillz, and it's the same thing on TikTok, just with TT at the end. Eric Wills TikTok, and those are my 2 faves. Oh, and the podcast is called That's a Gay Ass Podcast, and we're on Instagram at Gay Ass Podcast. You should listen to Zach's episode; it's so good.
Yeah.
And I would love to see you there.
Yay! Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. What a dream.